The best and brightest young hockey players from around the world, not yet playing in the NHL, will hear their names called in tonight's NHL draft from Las Vegas. 18-year-old Macklin Celebrini is widely expected to be selected first overall by the San Jose Sharks. The young forward played for Canada at the World Juniors. And TSN's Craig Button is in Las Vegas for us. Craig, tell us more about Celebrini.
Well, the one word that always comes to mind, Renee, is complete. The ability to control the game, to contribute in the game in so many significant areas. He's a strong offensive player. He's a strong defensive player. If he chooses to play in the NHL next year, he will be the front runner for Rookie of the Year. We saw Connor Bedard win that on Thursday night. And much like Connor Bedard, they're young players that are prodigious talents. And certainly Macklin has dominated as a 16-year-old. He's dominated as a 17-year-old in the NCAA, where he's been the youngest player of everybody in the league. So when you consider that this type of player doesn't come along very often, and there's not any suspense about who the first pick is going to be. It's going to be Macklin Celebrini to the San Jose Sharks, and certainly a player that they're hoping can turn the fortunes of the franchise around.
Now, there are a few Canadian teams with top 10 picks. What can we expect for Montreal, Ottawa, and Calgary?
Yeah, well, you're looking at 5, 7, and 9. And, after the first pick, there's probably about 10, 11 players that you're certain are going to go in the next 10, 11 slots. You're just not sure in what order. Montreal has done a really fabulous job of being able to build up their prospect pool. They've used the draft to do that. Last year, they had the 5th overall pick. They have the 5th overall pick. And they can go defense. They can go forward. One of the interesting players in this draft is Jerome McGinley's son, T. And Jerome was a great player. Tej is such a promising young player. It'll be fascinating to see where he goes. I know the Calgary Flames, I think, would love to be able to draft Tej Ginla. I think, unfortunately for the Calgary Flames, he will be selected long before then. Steve Staios takes over in Ottawa. Ottawa's had a great opportunity to integrate young players into their lineup. We saw them trade a first-round pick to get Linus Ullmark. It'll be interesting. Do they use the pick to try to help their team right now in acquiring a player, or do they try to get another young player? They haven't had a first-round pick since 2021, but the options are really, really wide for Montreal, Ottawa, and Calgary, and they're going to get a good player. There's no question that this draft has some depth, and whether they go the defense route or they go the forward route, these are players that whoever they select are going to be promising for them in the years to come.
Could there be any surprise off-the-board picks?
I think, Renee, you can expect that. And I don't know who, I don't know what team would do it or where it would be, but I think in a draft where you have some, what I would say, some players that are close and some players that maybe others may not have rated as high. And the player that comes to mind is Beckett Seneca, who played with the Oshawa Generals. He had a meteoric rise in terms of his play and his progression this year. And so that would be the one I would be watching for to give you that surprise, to give that kind of unheralded pick that nobody's expecting. That's the name that I would present, but certainly it wouldn't be out of the realm to see him go in the top 10. And I guess to a lot of people that would be a surprise.
All right, I guess we'll see what happens. TSN's Craig Button, thanks for this.